A Cadillac Escalade and a Chevrolet Tahoe roll off the same assembly line, built on the same frame, powered by the same engine options, and one of them costs $30,000 more. Nobody explains that at the dealership. 6 car brands charging you for a badge, 3 that actually earn the price tag. Rule 1: the badge is never the engineering. I have spent years pulling apart what a car company actually builds versus what it lets you believe you are buying, and the pattern repeats across nearly every manufacturer on Earth. A parent company builds one solid platform, then wraps it in 3 or 4 different names, 3 or 4 different price tags, and hopes you never compare the window stickers side by side. Let me show you exactly where that happens and who is still building the real thing. Number 1. Buick. General Motors positions Buick as the quiet, almost luxury option, the brand for someone who wants a step up without the Cadillac price. The Buick Enclave shares its entire platform with the Chevrolet Traverse and the GMC Acadia. Same frame, same engine, same underlying bones. Step inside any of the 3 and the switchgear, the infotainment screen, and the safety systems are nearly identical. What changes is the grille, the badge on the hood, and the sticker price, which routinely runs several $1,000s above the Chevrolet version for what amounts to a nicer set of seats in a quieter cabin. Buick still sells reasonably well in a market that rewards a premium-feeling name. And to be fair, the brand has genuinely improved its reliability scores over the last decade. But you are not paying for different engineering. You are paying for the letters on the trunk. Number 2. GMC. This one is the boldest version of the same trick because the truck underneath barely changes at all. The GMC Sierra and the Chevrolet Silverado share the same frame, the same engine lineup, and the same transmission options, built in some cases on the very same production line. GMC markets itself under the tagline "Professional Grade," adds a bolder grille, a few extra chrome accents, and a Denali trim with nicer leather, then charges thousands more for what is functionally the same truck wearing a different hat. Owners who cross-shop the two rarely find a meaningful mechanical difference once you match the trims correctly. If you like the way a GMC looks and you can afford the premium, that is a completely reasonable choice. Just know clearly what you are paying extra for, because it is not durability or capability. It is the badge. Number 3. Cadillac, specifically the Escalade. This is where badge engineering reaches its most expensive form. The Escalade shares its full-size body-on-frame platform with the Chevrolet Tahoe and Suburban, along with the GMC Yukon, all 4 built from the same architecture General Motors uses across its full-size lineup. The Escalade adds a genuinely striking interior, more sound deadening, and a longer feature list, and none of that is nothing. But the price gap between a loaded Tahoe and a comparable Escalade routinely stretches past $25,000 for a vehicle sharing the same frame rails and the same drivetrain choices underneath the leather. You are buying an excellent vehicle either way. The question is whether the interior upgrade alone is worth the size of that gap, and for most buyers, the honest answer is no. Number 4. Lincoln. Ford built Lincoln as its answer to Cadillac, and the badge engineering runs just as deep. The Lincoln Aviator shares its platform with the Ford Explorer, and the Lincoln Corsair shares its underpinnings with the Ford Escape. Ford's own engineers have said plainly in interviews that the goal was a more refined, quieter execution of the same core vehicle, not a different vehicle. Lincoln does deliver a noticeably nicer cabin and a smoother ride in most trims, and its owner satisfaction scores have climbed in recent years. But once again, the mechanical bones, the platform, the engine choices, and the safety architecture trace straight back to the Ford showroom next door, usually for several $1,000s less. Number 5. Infiniti. Nissan built Infiniti to compete directly with Lexus and Acura. And on paper, the formula looks identical. Take the parent company's platform, dress it up, charge a luxury price. The difference is what happens after you drive it off the lot. Infiniti models have consistently posted weaker resale value than Lexus and Acura over the same ownership period, often losing somewhere in the neighborhood of half their value within 5 years. Lexus built its reputation on Toyota's dependability record, and Acura leaned on Honda's. Infiniti never fully inherited that same trust from Nissan, and the resale numbers reflect it every single year. You can still get a genuinely comfortable, well-equipped vehicle for the money. You just will not get the badge's promised return when it is time to sell it. Number 6, and this is the one that should make you sit up, Maserati. The Ghibli, the Levante, and the 6th-generation Quattroporte are all built on the Chrysler LX platform, the same underlying architecture Stellantis has used across parts of its American lineup. Even more surprising, the Ghibli's engine, developed with Ferrari, uses an engine block cast by Chrysler before Ferrari's engineers get their hands on it. Maserati wraps that shared foundation in Italian styling, a distinctive exhaust note, and a badge that costs 6 figures in some trims. The driving experience is genuinely different, and nobody buys a Maserati expecting Toyota levels of long-term reliability. But when the platform underneath a car with a triple-digit price tag traces back to an American sedan platform, that is worth knowing before you sign. Now here's the good news, because 3 brands are still doing this the right way, building their own platforms and pricing the car for what it actually is. First, Genesis. Hyundai's luxury division does not borrow a Hyundai platform and slap a new grille on it. Genesis engineers its own chassis, its own suspension tuning, and its own interior architecture from the ground up, and it backs every vehicle with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, a term no German or Japanese luxury competitor comes close to matching. You are getting genuine engineering investment and a real safety net at a price that consistently undercuts BMW and Mercedes-Benz by a meaningful margin for comparable trims. Second, Mazda. Mazda has never chased the badge engineering game at all because it builds its own platforms in-house across nearly its entire lineup, and it invests that money into chassis tuning and steering feel instead of a longer options list. Reviewers consistently note that a Mazda drives noticeably sharper than rivals costing several $1,000s more because the company spent its budget on the parts you actually feel from behind the wheel rather than a badge that costs more to license internally. Third, Kia and the Telluride specifically. Kia spent the last decade rebuilding its reputation from the ground up, and it shows. The Telluride is not a rebadged version of anything. It is Kia's own design, built on its own platform, and it now regularly beats 3-row luxury sport utility vehicles costing $15,000 more in owner satisfaction surveys. Kia backs it with the same 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty Hyundai and Genesis offer, a promise most legacy luxury brands will not touch. So take that entire lineup and weigh it for yourself. A shared platform is not automatically a scam. Plenty of badge-engineered vehicles are genuinely good cars once you know exactly what you're getting. What actually costs you money is the gap between what changed under the skin and what the dealership charges you for it. Before you sign anything, look up the platform code, compare the trim level honestly against the cheaper sibling parked 2 rows over, and ask yourself one simple question. Are you paying for the engineering, or are you paying for the letters on the trunk? If this saved you from an expensive mistake, subscribe and tell me which brand you want broken down next.